It's a completely different app, a different environment for luxury brands to sit on. We've also seen a lot of success. Currently, we have close to 400 premium brands, luxury brands on our platform. Interesting aspect, I think, what we find very interesting, and it has been a great learning experience for us as well, is say in terms of our average order value, and this is blended across categories. It's more than $150. Most of our revenue today is coming from non-metro cities, right? So 60% of our revenue comes from cities where these brands don't have stores, which is really the power of omni-channel, right?
When we started speaking to our customers, we got a lot of feedback from a lot of customers that while they were comfortable buying jewelry up to the price point of let's say $1,000 or so online, but beyond that, online only was not something that they were very comfortable.
as you said, things have, increase in online spends and increase in online traction has increased, and these unexpected events like COVID has definitely added to the popularity of online presence. But do you think this will replace the touch and feel when it comes to buying luxury goods, especially to you, in your case, Gaurav? Do you think that in the future, an online presence alone can be sufficient for the retail and luxury industry, especially as you rightly mentioned initially, that a lot of people wanted to go, even your repeated customers wanted to go and see the product in the store. So do you think online can replace this in future?
So short answer is no, let's say, and if we take a short-term view of the future, which is 5 to 10 years, 25, 50 years down the line, what happens, no one knows. But in short term, I believe, so what I feel the pandemic has done is it induced a lot of forced trials. So a lot of people who were otherwise hesitant, who might have taken a lot more pushing, uh, to try it out solely online over next 4 to 5 years, might have done it in the last 2 years. So it accelerated adoption of online. However, I don't believe that it would have changed the end state. So those folks who would have actually been forced to buy luxury items online now, I reckon they would have anyway taken the plunge in next 3 to 4 to 5 years and so on. So and beyond that, there are still many people who, and for these people also a lot of. So I think the moment they have the option, they would switch back to the natural behavior that they'd had, wherein they would be using both online and physical presence to complete their purchase. I'm saying for a long time, the world was kind of wedged between online world versus offline world, which I believe is changing very fast. All exactly because Amazon, etc. Amazon of the world, they started with very online heavy categories like books, etc. And they were only retailers, right? So the products were always available offline. But they made a killing out of retailing those products online, and they played on price and convenience. Right, so they were very successful in the categories where the price and convenience were the only two levers. But for most of the categories, most of the other categories, both the world will survive. I think a bigger threat to a lot of incumbents, not a threat, it's an opportunity also, is the whole omni-channel side of it, and not just the online side. Right. So if someone comes and creates a very strong omni-channel leverage on the existing offline business, I think they have a lot to gain. So physical is going to remain a dominant force. However, a nicely layered online presence on top of that physical can take the business to a different level altogether.
Interesting. So do you think, like shopping patterns during pandemic changed, especially for the luxury goods, because people were holding on to the money and people were reluctant in spending money on luxury products? Do you see any, shifts during pandemic? We are still in it, but what shifts did you see in last 1 year? And also, what measures did you take to combat that in case there was any shift?
So some drastic shifts when it comes to user behavior. So what we had noticed was that people, and I think we all know that people were wary of physical contact. Right? So be it the way the deliveries were done, be it the try-at-home service that we had, be it walking into the stores, even when the stores were open, people were just that much were uncomfortable. Getting in close proximity to another person, or to walking into close spaces. So, and in our case, like I had already mentioned, almost all the commerce, almost all the sales that is done offline also, or in physical space also, everything starts online. Okay, so the kind of behavioral shift we saw was people were a lot more comfortable saying that, okay, let's do it on video chat. So they would actually, whether it's on WhatsApp or whether it's on any other service, Zoom or anything, people are more comfortable if someone else actually tries out that jewelry in front of them. That would give them a comfort of a higher degree than just buying it online. So basically, video calling, video chatting was one of the biggest behavioral changes that we have seen. In addition to that, because it forced a lot of people to try out online for the first time, what we had also noticed was that a lot of customers, so the questions and queries that people had, uh, those increased drastically. So our typical support chat or support call volume for a given order volume, so that ratio skewed big time, because a lot of people are now getting in who were not that well aware of the service, who are now forced to buy and hence had lot many questions. So we had to so we ramped up that team also. We actually went deeper. We created more tutorials, more content for us to support those people with their questions, with their queries, who needed the support at that time. Uh, I think, so that's a kind of behavioral shift we saw. I think a lot of this will go back to being normal, pre-pandemic kind of behaviors. How much time it takes, which anybody's guess now.
Sure. So, Gitanjali, what are your thoughts on this? Did you all also take any measures to, beat pandemic shopping? Was it low? Was it high? So, if you could share your thoughts also on this.
So clearly, I think we saw two big trends. One was buy less but buy better, right? And this really came out in terms of our average order values increasing, and also a lot more success in brands which were around sustainability or organic, right? So we saw this huge trend, and it's really continuing. I wouldn't say that it's the most overpowering trend, but it's definitely a growth trend we are observing in our categories. And on average order value, people were kind of not buying so much, so frequently, but whenever they were buying something, they were very conscious of the purchase. They were investing much more time. Our average page views, time spent on the site shot up. And another kind of trend which really links to it, and we actually got a lot of customer queries on it, was gifting. So because people were not meeting, right? Today, if I want to kind of connect with you, celebrate something with you, I want to send you a gift and I can't meet you. That's where people turn to e-commerce. So our gifting categories like handbags, watches, all of them were actually quite successful. So not talking about lockdown phase, but just after lockdown was opened up, deliveries were happening, we actually saw more than 200% year on year growth in these categories. So um, that's what, see, the thing is that people, this customer segment has money, right? They do want to express themselves, they do want to purchase. Frankly, it's the kind of purchase what they want, the kind of brands that they want made the difference. Perhaps they wouldn't have bought 10 type of t-shirts, but that one high-end watch is something they invested in.
Great. I think we all saw certain changes. It's good to know that shopping patterns and stickiness to the brands were higher during pandemic. So what do you feel, just to sum up our conversation, like what do you think that once COVID situation is contained, once the pandemic is over, will people go on frenzy shopping? Will they go overboard on that? What are your thoughts? Question to both of you. Gitanjali, right into you. Sorry, Gaurav, yeah.
Go ahead, Gitanjali.
I think so. See, I believe it's difficult to predict because there are two theories. One theory is that people are already shopping. Now, at least, it's not that people are not shopping, at least for the categories this panel operates in, right? Another theory is that all the expenditure that people were not doing on, say, weddings, travel, etc., they want to spend in those places. So yes, I think there will be a surge as soon as things open up. People will do a bit of revenge shopping, but it will very soon stabilize. People will want to kind of use their money and get those experiences they had not done, right? They would rather go on a trip than buy more of things right now, right? So that's my view. I think it will be short-lived, and very soon it will be back to normal.
Back to normal, yeah. Great. Gaurav, what about you? What do you think about this?
I would echo her thoughts. I think there'll be a short bump up in the demand, but it'll be very short-lived. Things will go back to normal buying patterns.
Great. Fantastic. I think we are little ahead of the time, and yeah. Yes, Laure.
Yes, fantastic. Well, Gaurav, Gitanjali, and Kritika, thanks very much. Okay, have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.